There is no more romanticized weapon than the sword. Even though its military use is long gone, it's still firmly mankind's collective memory and has an essential part in history. It only makes sense that so much of our media, anime and otherwise, is about swords and men and women who wield them. So here are our top 20 of the best sword fighting anime you can find out there. So get ready and let's count down our list. Starting with number 20, Berserk. Remember that time when Guts fought off 100 enemy soldiers practically single-handed? Guts boasts ridiculous strength, wielding a sword that is less like a sword and more like a human-sized ultra-sharp slab of iron. Often it's only enemies twice his size that just force him to make a modest effort in a fight. He's just that dominant. Guts is the perfect swordsman for the brutal world of Berserk, hacking apart enemies like they're mincemeat. Guts is definitely a guy you want on your side in a fight. Number 19. Afro Samurai. In the world of Afro Samurai, the number 1 headband will be worn by the best fighter. The only way to obtain the headband is to defeat the current wearer. However, only the number 2 headband wearer can challenge the number 1 headband wearer. On the other hand, anyone can challenge the number 2 headband wearer. The story follows Afro, who seeks revenge after his father, who wore the number 1 headband, was murdered by a villain named Justice, who wore the number 2 headband. Afro Samurai is a very straightforward and an action-packed anime. As there are only 5 episodes, not many details were explored in the series. It can be a good anime for one who only seeks to watch many katana fight scenes and do not care much for a plot. Number 18. Mushibugyou. During the Edo period, there is one group of people capable of saving people of Japan from invading giant insects, the Insects Magistrate Officer, composed of the finest warriors in Japan. It's the responsibility of warriors of the Ayamo to exterminate the monstrous bugs that pillage their land. Jinbi Tsukishima is an aspiring swordsman who joins the Insects Magistrate Officer after an incident prevents his father from doing the same, and he hopes to play a part in the extermination of insects from Japan. Mushibugyou props up a ragtag group of samurai, ninja, and priestess against giant insects, and it's a complete load of fun. Number 17. Shigurui Death Frenzy. This anime follows Fujuki Ginsuki and Iraku Sigan, both of whom are potential successors to the skull of Iwamoto Kogan, Japan's great swordsman. Only one of them can take the post. However, so they battled it out in a bloody tournament that will test not only their worth as warriors, but also their humanity. Shigurui may be one of the most disturbing shows you'll ever watch, whether it's sword fighting or otherwise. There is the man who guts himself to protest against a fight, and another whose bizarre scenes will burn into your brains for days after you see it, if you can stomach all that. However, Shigurui offers an interesting perspective about the samurai mythos. Number 16. Sword Art Online. 2022 Sword Art Online, a new brand of VRMMO, has been released. Kiruto is one of the 10,000 that logged into SAO during the first day. Unfortunately, they found themselves soon unable to log out and trapped inside this deadly game. Like the name says, this anime completely focuses on sword fighting, contrary to the most MMO. Sword Art Online doesn't have a magic system. All the players can rely on are their sword skills. Sword skills are system assist, but you have to do the motion yourself. Kirito itself is a dual-wielding swordsman and has the fastest reaction time in the game. Number 15. Hakuouki. The Shinsengumi, an elite police officer, existed at a time when the Tokugawa shogunate was beginning to lose power, and Japan was beginning to open its doors to foreigners. Historically, their main function was to keep anti-foreigners and rebels at bay, though Hakuouki extends this further to include battling against monsters called Rasitsu. In the midst of it all is Yukimura Shizuru, a young woman who wanders into Kyoto while searching for her doctor father. She got attacked by criminals but is thankfully saved by the Shinsengumi. Coincidentally, Shizuru and the group happens to be searching for the same person, and so she ends up staying with them for a while. Number 14. Basilisk. The two legendary ninja clans, Iga and Kuga, have finally entered an era of peace thanks to the order of the shogun Ieyasu Tokugawa. This temporary peace has an opportunity to become permanent when the heirs of their respective clans fall in love and plan on marrying. Unfortunately, a conflict with the successor of the title of shogun caused Ieyasu Tokugawa to engage the Iga and Kuga clan in a battle royal, with each clan representing one of their heirs. The clan will pick 10 of their best warriors to compete, and the winning clan will gain the favor of the winning shogunate. The heirs of the clans, Ginsuki Kuga and Oboro Iga, will have the challenging decisions to decide between clan loyalty and personal love. Number 13. Akame ga Kill. Tatsumi is a naive swordsman who travels to the capital to earn money so that he can help his poor village. Unfortunately, when he reaches the capital, he realizes how corrupted it is after he goes through a series of unfortunate events, from meeting people with ill intentions through a series of twists. Tatsumi decides to join Night Raid, which is a group of assassins who intends to overthrow the government. In Akame ga Kill, each member of the Night Raid carries different types of weapons which may not necessarily be a sword. However, rest assured that you will see katanas being used a lot in this series, as swords are the main weapons of choice for the protagonist Tatsumi. Number 12. Blood Plus. Saya Otonashi is an anemic amnesiac who lives a happy life with her family. However, one day she is attacked by a chiropteran, who is a creature that feeds on blood of the living. Saya learns that she is the only one who can defeat the blood-sucking chiropteran, as her blood causes the bodies of creatures to crystallize and break into pieces. Thereafter, she embarks on a journey and wields special katana to get rid of the chiropterans. This story is about a high school girl wielding a katana, defeating blood-sucking vampires. If you think an anime series featuring a cute female lead with a katana is to be cool, then you are totally right. While the anime takes on a dark and more serious tone, it still has room for some comedy. Number 11. Claymore. When a shape-shifting demon with a thirst for human flesh known as Yuma arrives in Raki's village, a lone woman with silver eyes walked into town with only a sword upon her back. She is a Claymore, a being manufactured as half human, half Yuma for the express purpose of exterminating these monsters. After Raki's family is killed, the Claymore saves his life, but he is subsequently banished from his home. With nowhere else to go, Raki finds the Claymore, known as Claire, and decides to follow her on her journeys. Claymore is a dark, gritty fantasy with an excellent story. Claymores mainly fight using a sword, using their sword style to defeat the Yuma, which are normally more powerful than them. Number 10. InuYasha. Kagumi is a 15-year-old girl from Tokyo who time-slipped into Shinjuku era after falling into a well. There she meets the half-demon InuYasha. The two goes on a journey after Kagumi unwittingly destroys the jewel embedded inside her to prevent Naruki, a powerful demon, from collecting the shards. InuYasha is a classic anime with some good fights. InuYasha fights by wielding a sword named Tessaiga that's created from the fangs of his father. Number 9. Bleach. Kurosaki Ishigo is a 15-year-old high school student who has the ability to see ghosts and spirits, in which he meets a shinigami named Rukia Kushiki. When Rukia sustains a serious injury due to protecting Ishigo from an attack by a hollow, she realizes that she is unable to defeat it. Hence, she transfers her shinigami powers to Ishigo to defeat the hollow. Ishigo then becomes a shinigami who wields a large Zanpakuto sword. Zanpakuto is a type of katana that is main weapon for various parties, including the Shinigami. The size of the katana reflects the spiritual power of the wielder, but nonetheless, there are more important attributes than the size itself. The katana also varies in shape, appearance, and abilities. To learn more about the katana and enjoy watching the sword fights with supernatural beings, you should definitely watch this series. Number 8. Dororo. Sword fighters trust their sense and training in the heat of battle. Knowing how their body will react, their weapon becomes an extension of themselves. Hyakimoro takes this concept and embodies it, with he himself being a weapon outfitted with blades, prosthetic limbs, robbed of his sense of birth by a curse. Hyakimoro can't hear, smell, or even see when he fights when he is first introduced. He can only sense the presence and the temperature of the souls of living things nearby. Against all odds, Hyakimoro goes from battle to battle. He can't even feel pain, so he never backs down. Number 7. Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works. Fuyuki City is the host of the Holy Grail War, a war where 7 Meiji along with their servant fights to win the Holy Grail, an artifact that can grant any wish. Miyashiro, an amateur mage, was unwittingly selected to become the participant in the 5th Holy Grail. Fate Stay Night is one of the best anime in recent times. Ufutable's animation and choreography is top-notch. The fights are extremely fluid and dynamic. A must-watch if you want to see a top-class fights. Number 6. Samurai X. It is the Meiji era, which is the time of peace, and there are individuals who are not satisfied with the era changing and want to bring back violence and war. Rurouni Kenshin is a wandering swordsman who bears an X-shaped scar on his cheek. He has a gentle and meek personality now, but he used to be pretty badass assassin known as Hitokiri Badosei. He vows not to kill another person again, so he now wields a Sakabado, which is a reverse blade katana. If Kenshin is really sincere in not killing anyone anymore, why doesn't he just wield the katana that is blunt on both edges? That's because he doesn't need it for a certain situation such as cutting cannibals or poultry. I have to warn you, the series may inspire you to imitate the power moves used by the swordsman, which can be pretty embarrassing in real life. Trust me on that. Number 5. Katanagatari. Unlike other swordsmen, Yasuri Shishika fights without using a sword. He lives with his sister Nanami on an isolated island called Fushu Island. One day, he encounters the ambitious strategist Togami, who aims to collect the 12 legendary swords created by the masterful swordsmith Shikizaki Kiki. Togami enlists the help of Shishika so they can go on a journey together to find the 12 swords. The very definition of a swordman is a man who fights with a sword. So how could it be possible that a swordsman fight without a sword? Well, that is for you to find out on this series. Each of the 12 swords have their unique abilities, thus the viewers anticipating what kind of power the next sword possesses. Number 4. Samurai Champloo. Fukazumi is a waitress in a tea shop. When she accidentally spills a drink on a customer, she then experiences the receiving end of incessant harassment by a group of samurai. Mugen saves her with his fighting skills that resemble breakdancing. Unluckily, Mugen picks a fight with Jin, a samurai who uses a traditional style of sword fighting. During the fight, the local magistrate's son is accidentally killed, so the Mugen and Jin are set to be executed. Fortunately, Mugen and Jin are saved by Fu, who then enlists their help to find a certain samurai who smells like sunflowers. The sword Champloo actually comes from the Okinawan word chanpuru, which means blend. In this anime, you can expect a mixture of themes, most notably the combination of a funky hip-hop motif with a traditional sword fighting. Even the music features a blend of traditional and modern music, which gives a more stylistic feel to the fight scenes. Number 3. Vinland Saga. This anime is the coming-of-age story of Thorfinn, the orphaned son of an elite Viking who grows up to be a vicious warrior, so he can one day kill Askeladd, the man who killed his father. If you thought Vikings and anime didn't mix, then Vinland Saga is here to prove you wrong. The action masterfully balances the speed and intensity that anime is known for, with the size and strength of the Vikings for some carnage and guts. However, when you see Thorfinn's duel with Askeladd, the series does a great job of portraying that fighting is more mental than physical, as Askeladd gets under Thorfinn's skin by evoking the memory of his father. Beyond the brutal violence, the fact that Vinland Saga shows the mental and emotional part of battle is something that makes it definitely worthy of acknowledgement on this list. Number 2. Demon Slayer. Tanjiro Kamado is a young boy who sells charcoal to make a living for his family. One fateful day, the entirety of his family, save his sister, are murdered by a demon, thrusting him into a world of fears and despair. After an encounter with the demon-killing swordsman, Tanjiro and his sister, who is now a demon herself, must discover a way to end her curse and track down the monster who destroys their family. Demon Slayer is one of the best sword-fighting anime you can watch. This series has gone through important changes from the beginning to its end, something that managed to help it stick out and carry the weight of a visually innovative anime in somewhat a dry season. Reaching number 1, Gintama. Humanity has been attacked by aliens known as Amanto, and the samurai join the fight against them. Upon realizing the aliens' power, the shogun betrays the samurai, which leads to the aliens taking over feudal Japan. Swords are also prohibited from being carried in public. The story focuses on Gintoki Sakara, an eccentric samurai with a penchant for swords. He takes on odd jobs in order to pay his rents and other needs. This is a sword-fighting samurai series that is filled with creative parodies, which include popular series such as Naruto, Bleach, and One Piece. As katana are banned in the world of Gintama, Gintoki mainly uses a wooden katana known as Bokito. The fight scenes are still pretty exciting to watch, but the main appeal of Gintama lies in its comedy, which does not cease in quality despite the many episodes. If you made it till here, then you must tell us your opinions in the comments section below. Thanks for watching and see you in the next time.